Hello and welcome to Breakfast All Day. I'm Matt here with Christy and Alonso. The big movie this week that was expected to be an Oscar favorite, may still be, who knows, is out on Netflix. It's called Hillbilly Elegy, based on a best-selling novel, but I didn't see it because I didn't hear anything good about it. So yeah, I didn't see it, but they saw it and they'll tell you about it. I'm going to maybe go get myself a drink, so I'll be back.
Do it.
Well, very well. So yeah, this is Ron Howard's adaptation or Ron Howard directed adaptation of the memoir by J.D. Vance about his childhood in working class Ohio and some summers in Kentucky and his family there that he moved past. The way the film tells it, we begin with Vance as a student at Yale Law School. He is at this point already gone to Ohio State and served in the Marines. He's there on a scholarship. And to pay for his part of his law school, it's very important that he land this big internship with a big firm. But just when he is about to have to go in for an interview, he gets a call from home from his sister that their mother has overdosed on heroin and he needs to come and help take care of things. And so we get flashbacks to his childhood growing up, to his volatile mother, played by Amy Adams, who was a nurse until her opioid addiction kind of took over her life, and his grandmother, Mama. Sorry, there's a
Papa.
There's a Mima or a Mama on Uncle Frank, so they're all blurring together now. Mama, played by Glenn Close, who is there for him when he needs her, and is maybe trying to determine not to repeat the same mistakes that she made with his mom. This is not good at all. It's a really sort of surface study of the lives of these characters. It's certainly not interested in any of the larger systems that put them where they are, or that have affected the economy or their opportunities or their educational choices or any of that stuff. It's mainly a movie about how great J.D. Vance is for getting out of there, and how he is, he's managed to be better than his surroundings and do better than might have been expected of him. But at the same time, he's also better than those snobby lawyers who call his family rednecks and kind of, look at him askance when he tells them he's from Ohio. Yeah, this movie's a crock. It's
poverty porn.
Totally poverty porn. I quoted the 40-year-old version in my review for that very reason.
It is leering, right? It is gawking at these people for their tackiness, for their lack of education, for
arguments on the porch.
I mean, Glenn Close is like she's like cantankerous grandma to the extreme, with the added undercurrent of her being, from Appalachia and being poor and chain smoking. And they do like these horrible oversized glasses on her and like tacky shirts from the discount store. But then at the end,
you see the woman that she's playing.
You see who she's playing, and you realize like, oh, she looks exactly like her. And yet the performance is such a caricature.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
kind of like lower class, working class, poor Southern crotchety old woman.
It feels like one of those performances that starts externally, and it was sort of, so it's like, you look at the photos side by side, like, okay, yeah, those are the glasses, that's what the hair looks like, that's what the the liver spots on the hand, like all of those things, Glenn Close is wearing them and is visually giving you this actual woman. I don't know what the actual woman is like, but I venture to guess that she is more of a believable human being than Glenn Close is in this movie.
Right. And so she and Amy Adams both, like two of our greater actresses last couple generations, are both really screechy and like up here, and it's all so over the top. Vanessa Taylor wrote this based on J.D. Vance's memoir, and she also was an Oscar nominee for her work on Shape of Water. And so what she's done here is like I've not read the book, so maybe the book also has this kind of back and forth structure. I don't know, but the times and the ways in which it chooses to move back and forth in time, I found really jarring. And and kind of confusing sometimes. There are films in which a movie will move back and forth in time where you can like set your watch to why it's going to go back in time to this moment that was pivotal and informs us of the present. This is the opposite of that. This feels kind of like they tossed it all in the air and then like shot the pieces as they were cut them together as they found them laying. I found no insight into the greater problems that plague so much of the country, but this particular region so hard, with opioid addiction, with just feeling stuck, with, businesses closing up and being boarded up and no real hope. JD Vance is like a saint, in this, and we should say who he's played by. He played Gabriel Basso as an adult, and the kid who plays him as a younger version, Owen Astalos, is really good, actually.
Yeah, no, they're fine. It's the thing about this whole thing is like, and I've read a lot of very sort of detailed critiques of the book, and people have problems with the book, and I haven't read it, so I can't address those directly one way or the other. But I couldn't help feeling that even with a book that you might have issues with, that if you had somebody like, her name just flew out of my head, the woman who did Winter's Bone, Deborah Granick.
Yeah.
If you had somebody like Deborah Granick telling the story, if you had somebody who understood Kentucky the way that Richard Linklater understands Texas, if you had somebody like Sean Baker, who's like an endlessly compassionate and insightful, storyteller when it comes to working class lives, maybe there was something in this material that you could turn into a movie. Ron Howard, for what gifts he has, this is not his wheelhouse, and he can only sort of conceive of this as kind of a vehicle of uplift.
Yeah.
And it just feels insincere.
It does. And also the glossiness and like the spectacle that is so often associated with his films doesn't work here. Like I wanted like the grittier indie drama version of this story, because certainly there are truths to be found here. The story he's telling is relevant, and it probably will resonate with people who maybe have experienced it themselves. The one positive takeaway from this is that it does shine a light on cycles of poverty, cycles of abuse, cycles of substance abuse. And so if that's helpful to anybody, then fantastic. But there is so much that feels, as you say, so insincere, so like the glossy, uplifting Hollywood version of it. And putting somebody like JD Vance at the center of it, he's so boring. Like he's so without fail doing the right thing, and then it wastes Frida Pinto as his girlfriend. She just gets to be like sweet and doting and
supportive. Yeah,
and in real life, he did end up with this woman that he met at Yale Law School who is of Indian descent, and how different that probably was to JD Vance's family. That's kind of interesting, but they don't delve into that in any way that's meaningful.
Nope. Yeah, this just becomes like a really sort of empty bootstraps narrative. Like, quit complaining, go get a job like I did and work hard in school and, join the military, and you too can, absolve yourself from the cycle of poverty in this part of the country. And it's like, I'm glad it worked out for you, JD Vance, but you're not really like laying out a roadmap for anybody else,
Yeah, and the performances. Go ahead.
No, at least not as we're seeing it in the film.
The performance is also just, I have to go back to this. They're so over the top. Amy Adams can really do everything. She's terrible here. She's just shrieky, and like the chain smoking is meant to be the shorthand for how fucked up she is, and like screaming in the middle of the street, and just it's all so obvious and so over the top, and there's such histrionics on display here.
She and Glenn Close are giving like performances that are like Oscar worthy in the worst sense of the word. Because like if you're in something like, well, in terms of like volume reached and big showy ridiculous moments and like amount of makeup applied or wigs or whatever hiding what you actually look like, if you're knee jerk and going, oh well, that's some good acting there, then that's the kind of thing you nominate. But it's embarrassing. It is some of the worst work that either of them have ever done, and I just was appalled to watch it.
As you're fond of saying, it's most acting, right?
It's absolutely most acting, yeah.
Okay, so what is your number?
I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3. You gave it a 4.
Oh,
well,
did I?
You can give it a 3 if you want.
No, my 4 lives forever at Metacritic. I was feeling generous. It's a 4 then, yeah, but
3.5 from us. And yeah, it is bad. It's like in the 20s on the tomato meter. But
Yeah.
Glad I missed it.
yeah.
Oh.
Unless you're curious just to know, Matt.
Look, Matt, when award season pops up, you might have to watch it anyway. You never know.
Yes.
Just saying. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and do check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Extra content for our subscribers, including TV recaps. Right now, we're talking about The Mandalorian and The Queen's Gambit, and more other fun stuff in the weeks to come. So please check that out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.